Yo, what up? It's Donut, and you tuning in to All Your Illuminati News. I'm here with a good friend, Ani Asaru, at the Spiritual Shade Room. We're going to cover some strange topics. I mean, we're going to get wicked smart today. How you doing, Ani?
I'm doing good, brother. How about you?
I'm doing great, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Everybody, go subscribe to Ani. I got all of his links down below. Absolutely incredible Patreon. I really enjoy your breakdowns of symbolism, and we're going to talk about just some wild stuff, especially with the food. I mean, we got Arby's doing some Illuminati symbolism. I mean, I think we should start off right off the bat with that. But what are you looking into right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking into this. I've been researching what's going on with Arby's because they've been flashing the Illuminati pyramid. There's something esoteric with the eye, that picture. There's something very esoteric. I like Brother Sanchez's information to talk about the Vimanas, of how that is representative of how the first UFOs used to launch from their launch site. They're called Vimanas. Those little light little strings that you see around that looks like sun rays. There were strings that were connected to a Vimana, and it's symbolizing that the secret societies have been flying these anti-gravitic ships for a very long time, and we think we chop everything up to extraterrestrials and aliens, but really there's these people flying in these ships that's a part of elite societies and everything. So that's one thing that caught my eye this week, that Arby's been flashing that, and they came out with a commercial recently that was kind of weird. Yeah, they came out with this commercial, and I think it's simulating the apocalypse. Of course, that's the Luxor, the hotel
on the 36th lane line. Yeah, I grew up right by the Luxor in Vegas.
I stayed there before. I stayed at the Luxor before back in 2017, I believe. That it was real crazy, bro. It was a real crazy time. One of the best times of my life, really, but there was a lot of occult stuff happening in Las Vegas. But it's interesting that they introduced it in Las Vegas, because if you break down the Kabbalistic tree across the United States of America, Las Vegas will be Doth on the tree.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's why they built a stadium called the Death Star, there for the Las Vegas Raiders. This Doth, representative of Doth, the black pyramidion in the symbolism. Yeah, they have a lot of Sphinx statues. When I was there, it was everywhere, bro. I don't know about today, but if you go downtown Las Vegas, they got so much Egyptian symbolism out there. It's crazy. It's like you're walking through Egypt or something like that.
Yes, it's very connected. Tupac stayed here at the Luxor right before his assassination, and
yes,
he released that Don Illuminati right before the 7-day theory, and that's really what introduced me to a lot of the symbolism. And Jordan Maxwell, he would go over the chief cornerstone. A lot of people say, because he went into religion a lot and breaking down that. Mm-hmm. And he said the chief cornerstone is different than the cornerstone. So he said that Jesus was the chief cornerstone. And he said that it goes back to Egypt, and the pyramidion is the chief cornerstone, which is a pyramid on top of a pyramid. It's a pyramid on top of a pyramid. And so the symbolisms go deep. So I always think it's kind of, people cross this out, but if they actually knew where it was coming from, crossing it out goes kind of against, like symbolically, it's kind of inverted. But that's kind of what happens, is things get inverted.
Right. And they're trying to promote the potato cakes returning. If I was y'all, I wouldn't eat the potato cakes. But the potato cake is what that symbol represents. It comes back 66 weeks and 6 days after the Arby's co-founder Leroy Raffle died. So one of the co-founders, it was two brothers, in Ohio that founded Arby's. He died 66 weeks, 6 days before then. Pyramids equals 666 in Sumerian gematria, and RB cares, their new little, slogan, RB cares equals 666. So
yeah, you could shake up that burger meal for $9.99, which is 666. The order of the potato cakes, absolutely
right.
Symbolism. But I mean, the symbolism goes super, super deep. I mean, deeper than what we see. A lot of people will point out this, but I mean, like even the Illuminati eye got the Sampaku eye,
It
just like
does.
Joe Rogan got the Sampaku eye. He made this. So this is intentional, and
Mhm.
I'll prove that it's intentional. During the 90s, because this means psycho. This is like psycho symbolism. Not that, I mean, I get this too when I'm feeling psycho. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm talking about symbolism, the
Yeah.
lightning bolts, the symbolism, and
Yeah.
the third eye. But the third eye, they even made that psycho. So it's implementing that they want the consciousness to become psycho. They did this in the music video Black Hole Sun. Everyone
Mhm.
with the Paku eyes. And that's how I'm able to predict certain fights. Now, Jake Paul got the Sampaku eyes. Who
Mhm.
knows? It could be a ritual, though, like you've been breaking down for Tyson, because this is a strictly new hypothesis. But Arby's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Can you tell us about the symbolism of the 11, the
Yeah.
1-1?
Yeah, 1 1. The two most magical numbers is 9 and 11. That's why everything in this country goes back on the 9/11 date. 9 and 11 is the highest of magical numbers. And why did they file Chapter 11 bankruptcy? The 11 represents the two pillars, Jacquin and Boaz. And going through the pillars in masonry also symbolizes the portal, going through transformation. So right now, Arby's is getting a facelift and transformation. And I think them going into bankruptcy, they have new paymasters that's probably connected to some type of Illuminati sect or some Jesuit sect that is initiating everyone through the symbolism at this time right now.
And I like to remind everybody, we just smashed through 1,000 viewers. We're probably over that because we're streaming on multiple platforms, on Ani's platform. Go subscribe to Ani. You'll get wicked smart. Go subscribe there. But make sure to smash that like button. It really does support the video to get into the demonic algorithms full of hatred.
Please do. Please do, everyone. It's a lot of great information. And the algorithm kind of suppresses us because they know we bringing that heat and that fire that nobody else is right now, and breaking down what does all of this stuff mean. And there's so much going on right now that you have to really hone in and figure out what does all of these puzzle pieces mean, and how they're trying to indoctrinate us, especially in a election year. They really do increase the symbolism for you to see things.
Yes, yes. And here's your YouTube channel. We're going to cover your YouTube channel here in a moment. But
Yeah.
McDonald's is, they got their hi, welcome to the malevolent kitchen, which means having or showing a wish to do evil to others. So they, are open with it. 47th president, 7 years ago. This is symbolism for the 47th Masonic compass for the 47th president. So this is absolutely deep. It goes so deep, the symbolism. It's absolutely nuts. But on your YouTube channel, you did an interview. The Black
Mhm.
Lodge Moonchild Mysteries Unveiled is one, but you're interviewed with Alan H. Greenfield. And you
Yes.
guys were covering, that's what I just absolutely love about you, and also about me, is that we're bringing wicked smart people who know what's up. Can you tell us a little bit about what you learned in this video?
Yes. Alan H. Greenfield is one of the first euphonauts to study ufology. He's a bishop from the Gnostic church. He don't like you introducing him as that, but he is a bishop, and he has a lot of information into the complete rite of Memphis, which we spoke about early when we were covering the egg rituals. He has comprehensive historian knowledge into the Egyptian rite of Freemasonry and what it's all about. He wrote several books on this. He has over probably 10 plus books into this type of information and studies, like the Secret Cipher. That's one of his most famous books, but he developed his own gematria cipher based on Freemasonic codes of how they used to speak in Pig Latin. He developed a numerological system of how these entities speak to people through numerology. And he encoded it. So if at certain periods, when you see these angelic numbers, his system shows you how these entities are pouring through into this dimension, and what does it mean when at a specific time that you see these numbers. All of his information encodes what those entities are all about and what you can do ritualistically to close or open portals. One of the most important things he said in the interview is said that when people be doing certain magical rituals at specific times, they don't close the portals. It's important for you to close in ceremonial rites, close those portals off, because you don't know what's coming in behind you, what's coming behind, after you're done with those rituals. So he encodes how these Illuminati people, they don't close portals for specific reasons, and how CERN isn't nothing but a big portal itself, and they keep activating it, just like during the eclipse, which is interesting. You have Twin Peaks up right here. Twin Peaks started its series, I forgot what it was, 1990 something, but it started on 4/8. Yep, 1990, April 8th, 1990. And 4/8 in gematria is Illuminati. Illuminati equals 48, 4/8. So this was a very important date. And this particular show talks about the Black Lodge. Alan H. Greenfield just wrote a book called The Secrets, or the True Secrets of the Black Lodge, encoding throughout history how the Vedic Dugpas, and yep, that's Cal McLaughlin, the star of Twin Peaks. It's very interesting. This commercial comes out, bro, exactly 2 months and 23 days after the release of Twin Peaks. And it shows him going over to, that little, it's like an entity speaking to him in the forest. And in Twin Peaks, for you to enter the White and the Black Lodge, there's this portal in the forest of this town called Twin Peaks. And you told me the Twin Peaks could be representative of the AA. And what is the name of the lodge? Aleister Crowley's lodge, whatever his lodge name.
Yes, the AA lodge. And I think it's connected to Venus and Adonis. I've got a ton of alchemical plates that show the two mountains, the two peaks, the American Airlines, where today is National UFO Day. Today is 7/2. There's 72 bricks on the back of the Arby's pyramid right here, the back of the pyramid. And through a tetrachit system, you put the name of God in gematria, it equals 72. So the 72, like the 7.2 earthquake that just happened, or even Joe Biden with his 72 approval rating. I don't know where that is. 7/2 is today, July 2nd, National UFO Day. Cops are arresting people that are driving in UFOs today, or yesterday. But even the New York Times released the First Amendment is out of control, right? The number one free speech amendment is out of control on the day the country was founded. The country was actually founded on 7/2, July 2nd, but Benjamin Franklin changed it to July 4th because that's when the sun connects with the phallic monument, going back to the symbols of Sirius. It's all very, very serious. This is serious stuff. And here's that 72%. But even with RFK Jr. in the news right now on World UFO Day, eating a dog right here, JFK ate a dog appears that this is symbolism because of the dog days that we're entering,
Yes.
the helical rising. This is absolutely nuts. And here's Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice will be connected with it all. And but yeah, and so in this, you're talking about Twin Peaks, right? The AA, the two mountains. This Arby's commercial has got the star of Twin Peaks in it.
It does. It does. And
Oops, sorry.
They're highlighting.
Whoa.
Okay.
It just went insane right there. My bad.
It happens, bro. It happens. Technology. But the Twin Peaks, yeah, they're talking about the secret chiefs. Connecting with the secret chiefs, it goes back to Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society when they were making contact with these plasma-based entities. Basically, they found a way how to connect to these interdimensional beings. And these beings reside in these spaces within dimensions. And the only way you can reach these dimensions is through consciousness. So during certain astrological dates, for instance, right now in Vedic astrology, we're in Krishna Paksha Davadashi. That's when the sun and the moon would form a golden angle. And it'll be 42 degrees apart. That's when Vishnu and Aditya has rulership over the day. This is a specific day before Amavasya in Vedic astrology, which is the time that they do the most black magic rituals. It's when certain portals open. When the eclipse happened this year, it happened in Amavasya, bro. Amavasya takes place at the end of the last month and the beginning of the next month. And it basically, when I was referencing these interdimensional plasmic beings, they can make contact in consciousness, and these magical lodges figured out on certain dates, there's astral spaces that open that allows for communication with these specific beings. So they started to name these spaces and name these beings. And that's that's Amavasya dates right now. So like two days, I believe, is when we begin Amavasya, and they do the most underground black magic rituals around this time, bro. They go underground, they put on the mask, the animal skins, and this is when you see like Illuminati movies like Eyes Wide Shut. This is the time period that they do it per month.
Interesting. And this is Vedic astrology?
Yeah, this is Vedic astrology. If you go down a little bit to July, where we're at right now, they'll show you the date. So July 5th is when Amavasya starts, and it ends on the 6th.
Oh, wow.
And what's interesting with Vedic astrology, I was talking about on my Patreon video, that there's a website you can go to called devaguru.com. There's these special Vedic days. One in particular, there's a Vedic day called, well, it's not a name for it, but it's the 8th lunar day. It's a Tithi. A Tithi is a lunar day. We have a certain amount of lunar days. And on 9/11 this year will be one of the rarest days in Vedic astrology. Is when on Wednesday, which is a Mercurian time, falls on a 8th lunar day. And this is the best time to suppress Rahu, which would be the North Node in Western astrology. Rahu in Ketu in Vedic astrology represents the head and the snake. The head of the snake and the tail of the snake. I'm sorry. Rahu is the head, Ketu is the tail. That's the North Node, that's the South Node. And if a person is ignorant of this, bro, Rahu, the head of the snake, which rules over illusion and deception, that's what they're putting on the society, illusions and deceptions. Wednesday, 9/11, specifically for Panavashu Gemini ascendants, will be one of the best days for you to build resistance and build up a counter aura. And not just to those ascendants, it's just very special to those ascendants. But this is the best time, bro. On 9/11 is one of the most major important days of this year to build up a counter aura against those illusionary, deceptive energies.
Wow. It's so wild that it lands on 9/11. Like, so huge
It's a portal.
ritual. Yeah, it's a huge ritual portal day. Speaking of portals, Eminem just dropped, and Moonchilds. Eminem just dropped a new song, and you can see he's got the bunny because he's connected to the moon. He's the Moonchild, the bunny on the moon. His first album, he's on the moon. Marshall Mathers could be a 33, or Samuel Mathers of the Order of the Golden Dawn just released the commercial with the Moonchild baby in it, and the new song with Babytron. I was very excited that he had Babytron on there, Wadada, for anyone who knows about that. And Big Sean. And I like the one song by Big Sean that he goes really fast, and he kind of brought that in it. But 7-2, a very occult day. And Big Sean heavily connected to Ariana Grande, Illuminati as well. So I think that's cool, though, as a hip hop historian, that he is messing with the Babytron. I guess this was dropped on June 28th, maybe instead. But
yeah, the video is about to drop, and it's the 322nd anniversary of Detroit this year. So it's connected of the Skull and Bones. Damn. And he's wearing the Jason mask. When you were saying earlier about the Sirius Star and why they changed it to July 4th, the Sirius Star goes through a period called Jason. It's in the Argonaut mythology, but Jason represents a period of months. It's July, August, September, October, November. It is an acronym for these months where the Sirius Star is at the highest point, and they're talking about more portal physics of when these things open. So whenever you see the symbolism, if he puts on a mask or something like that, it is contributed to, it's contributed some type of black magic time that's important to them.
And also Jason, not only connected to that astrologically, but Jason has 33 holes in his face, and it's Friday the 13th, which is the Knights Templar Day, Friday the 13th. It's absolutely nuts. And then he gives birth to the Moonchild baby. So I'm sure there's a big connection to that with Samuel Mathers, Aleister Crowley beef. What's going on
about this? Well, let me just talk about the Moonchild rule. There's a lot on this Moonchild that people got to understand. I did a video on the Moonchild that you guys should check out on my YouTube. And the Moon Children aren't just attributed to magical workings. It's connected to MK Ultra. If you watch the movie Butterfly Effect, because there's something called the butterfly net that sets up the creation of the Moonchild. Back when Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard were doing these rituals, they would have these children up underground when they were doing the Babylon workings. If you guys don't know what the Babylon workings is basically they were doing these rituals to try to put a woman in a position to birth this Antichrist. And the woman was a part of the lodge as well. I forgot her name. Was it Marjorie? Cameron Marjorie or something?
I forget. But yeah, the Babylon workings, where they were trying to do the naughty time magic for the Scarlet Woman, like Doja Cat's Scarlet Woman tour. Like
Scarlet Woman. Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, Doja Cat was a symbol of the Scarlet Woman. They've used every female big rapper as the Scarlet Woman. You have Sexy Red. She's the Scarlet Woman. It's an archetype. It's an archetype that they're using. That's basically the Lady of Revelations. If you're looking biblically, the Lady of Revelations is a Scarlet Woman. And the moon is an electromagnetic computer. It regulates our movements, our actions, our manifestations over people, animals, plants. The bioluminescent light of the moon, we're codependent on it. That's how plants grow. Yeah, Sexy Red and everything that's connected with her. But there's literally information with this Moonchild thing that can tell you intricate info on how all of these people are all moon children. They're magical experiments. I'm talking about celebrities, public figures, people just like even a Joe Rogan or something. And most of the people don't know that they're Moonchild experiments, because sometimes with a Moonchild, just like how Juan talks about with homunculus, there's a being that they birth within you, and this being can grow inside of you, and it's basically a separate like a schizoid personality that they activate with a passcode. Yeah, just like in the movie Split. They can activate this personality or this entity that becomes attached to a personality in you, and that's why you see people like Kanye. One day he's a genius, and the next day he's a wacko, crazy person.
Right. And shout out to the homuncologist himself, the One-on-One podcast.
Yes.
That is amazing. I just recently did a podcast with Juan that was really good. But so this butterfly effect, Aleister Crowley had a book called The Butterfly Net. That's wild.
It's in the book. It's a library or something. But the book is titled The Moonchild. This is a chapter. Yeah, a chapter in the book is called The Butterfly Net, and they speak about how they program the Moonchild to basically be these energetic beings that walk into your body, just like they talk about with the walkers or whatnot. Whatever they talk about, the people that walk and take over possession of the body. And yeah, Lam was basically a moonchild. It was a homunculus. When he was doing a ritual in Egypt, he made contact with Lam during a specific period. He had to do some obscene things that I won't talk about on this video, but if you look into the information, he had to do some real wacky stuff for this entity to open itself up to him and tell him that we're entering into the Aeon of Horus and Mayat, which is a new aeon of information and knowledge.
And Mayat is a beautiful writing, though. So it's like inverted, right?
Mayat. Yeah, Mayat is the goddess of balance, harmony. The goddess of the scales is where Libra gets his attributes from. Libra is Mayat, representative of the scale goddess. It is balance and harmony is what and it's where the word Mav comes from. Mav comes from Mayat. Yeah, it comes from Mayat, means balance and harmony.
Wow. Yeah, I used to have a printout of the Mayat, what to do, and it's just like all peaceful and nice. And then Aleister Crowley just likes to invert all the the stuff. Yeah, so it's all about inversion. Even like the rainbow being inverted through the chakras as well. That was a great find. I gave you a shout out. I did a video and thought that was what's going on with these fingernails.
I don't know. It's very weird. At first, it was like blonde hair. I clicked and showed people how the rappers were dyeing their hair blonde. In the Eminem video, they were showing that. There's a movie called Meteor Man back in the early 90s, and they had these people called the Golden Lords. And basically, they were saying there was going to be a Freemasonic society, a secret society of celebrities or specific people in neighborhoods. And whenever they put out an archetype of a celebrity to do something, the whole population follows these specific celebrities. So these celebrities are serving as gods, really. And we are in idol worship of these gods, these celebrities. So whatever they do, the population does it as well. It influenced the next generation Alpha that's coming right behind us. They're trying to upload a program that it's okay to wear fingernails or polish your fingernails. There was just a NBA player that went viral when he was drafted. He was flashing his pink fingernails. And then you had Caleb Williams flashing his pink fingernails, the #1 pick in the draft this year. So I don't know what's up with it. I think it's some zesty programming of making males more hermaphroditic, which goes back into the information you were talking about with Adonis and Venus is connected to the Dionysian whole thing from Greek mythology. It basically is connecting with the feminine archetype, but it's not supposed to be literal feminine, like you act feminine. It's supposed to be something spiritual. So they're taking
feminine.
Interesting. Very never thought of it that way, but it's supposed to be spiritual, and they're doing what you said. They're inverting it and making it a debauchery, some other type stuff.
Oh man, yeah, the feminine. That's from my Juggalo days back in the day. The funny songs. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a simulacrum. The billboards are created like of Kim Kardashian or Sensory for us to imitate. Now we just passed through over 2,000 people tuning in live. I'd like to remind everybody to please smash that like button, share this video out. It means so much to the research that Ani be putting in, that I be putting in. So please, I remind everybody every time we pass through 1,000 to like the video and share it out, because it means so much. But it is a simulacrum. So the billboards are watching us. The billboards are watching us, so we will imitate them. Okay, that's what simulacrum means in a simple sense. And right now, with these food products like Arby's, we're going over the order of the potato cakes, the order of the sprinkle, the donuts, the food. I don't know if you've seen these videos of watermelon. The Bill Gates is, I shouldn't even say that name, my bad, but
I've seen that. It's I did a video on Patreon. I think I put it on. I think I did it in my last video. It's called the Food Matrix. It's called they named it something. Food glitch. The food glitch is happening around the country.
yeah, that's why you got to eat organic. And I mean, even organic is sus too. Like, it's all like sus. America's food system is totally sus. And I just think that's crazy. The Twin Peaks got the guy from Twin Peaks for the. I mean, the occult is absolutely out there for the exoteric, but there's such esoteric symbolism. The Wendy's logo, it's still like the McDonald's logo to me. I mean, I think they look the exact same, and they're in like competition with each other. They're always beefing on the internet. And like it says mom right here. So it's going into like I want to be fed and taken care of by the malevolent McDonald's. Hi, welcome to my malevolent kitchen with the 47 in there. That Twin Peaks stuff, man, that is wild.
Yeah, Twin Peaks is one of the most occult films ever made, man. Like, people have to take their time and go through all of the movies and break it down from 1990 to 2017. There's a lot in there of what's happening based on what the Black Lodge and the war between the Black Lodge and the White Lodge has been going on for years. Because the Black Lodge is entailing these black magicians called Dugpas. And the Dugpas study the Vedic science. And literally in the Dugpa text, they're given secrets of how, you remember in the Mortal Kombat game, the main enemy was Shane Tu.
Finish them, they them. Finish they them.
He had the ability to like take people's souls. That's what type of magic they're dealing with, how to take a person's soul.
Wow. Yeah, that's the Mortal Kombat went hard, bro. I remember at the arcade, back when arcades existed, that everybody was circling around the Mortal Kombat game. And like people would that was you?
I was a beast in Mortal Kombat, bro. I used to get I used to fight with Sub-Zero.
Okay, yeah, Sub-Zero, I did too. Sub-Zero was the dopest. Like, if you weren't fighting with Sub-Zero, what you doing?
Right. Sub-Zero was that guy. And I think they about to come back out with the movie again. They said they about to do another Mortal Kombat. I don't know if this year, but it's about to come back out though.
The jump all over the place. I was looking at the Joe Rogan podcast symbolism, because you got to understand, I mean, these are the two bolts. You can see, just look up the two lightning bolts of the National Socialist. It goes even deeper than that, but the Sampaku eyes. But then I was connecting the decagram. You know, I never heard of a decagram before. I know a pentagram, but a decagram in geometry is in the Masonic temple. It's right down there. It's the Masonic pavement is the decagram. So I'm sure there's something up with the symbol. It's also in the Kabbalah, the 10 Sephirot. And yes, there's the hidden Sephirot too, the Da'ath, Beta, I believe it's connected to the throat chakra. Right here is the throat chakra. That's why you got Darth Vader with the priestly breastplates, and he can't speak through his throat.
Right, right.
I think I learned that from Isaac Weishaupt. So shout out to Isaac Weishaupt. And this also goes into Islamic geometric patterns as well. Can you tell us a little bit about this pattern of the decagram?
Yeah, the decagram. Yeah, this is called arabesque. The arabesque art is Moorish art. Is literally talking about some physics dealing with patterns and shapes and other things. These patterns are encoding the mind of God. That's what these patterns are showing. Is showing a some type of chaos physics when you look into the patterns of how God's mind communicates to our consciousness. So these people, the Moors, they were inscribing in different temples and castles that they built around Europe, how the frequency of God comes into an art form. So it's very inspirational, and people have been studying it for ages.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, and if you think, no, it's just a face. No, this is, look up, what is the #1 podcast in the world, worldwide, #1 mainstream? It's the Joe Rogan podcast.
Joe Rogan.
And,
yeah.
Yeah. And who makes the most money on a podcast? It's Joe Rogan. Who has Elon Musk and the elites and different people like that? It's Joe Rogan. So for people to be like, no, we're underground. You're not underground. You're the mainstream. That's mainstream. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's the artificial cult is what it is. That's what the mainstream is. Nothing but an artificial cult.
And here's Magnum PI. Shout out to the people in the comments, because I learned so much from Anya Saru, and I also learned a lot from the comments. I was going over the double cross of Lorraine that we were talking about, and in Magnum PI, it's all based off of the double cross of Lorraine. This guy's wearing it's like a symbol in the show. I've never seen the show, but I like the aesthetics of it.
I've never seen it either.
But it's like, that's super in it. And like, we could see this today in the music industry with the double X. That's also the double X. And I was going over it in my last video, Kanye West in Russia right now. And here's Blink 182. We're on 7/2, July 2nd, leaves 182 days remaining. Blink 182 released with the Scientologist Harold Putoff the UFOs that we all see, which Scientology is also a UFO cult as well. The 128 code, yeah.
Yeah, Scientology came out of the Crawley, the Lodge, the Ordos Templars, Ori, the OTO. And yeah, they're studying the ufology information is interdimensional. That's why I want people to understand. Everything is interdimensional. So the main thing that the artificial code of mainstream is trying to do with disclosure, with UFOs and everything, and the reptilian whole movement, is to make it literal so people can miss the esoteric science behind it. You're not going to get the real science thinking most of these things are literal. It's literally consciousness. That's what the control is all about.
And this lady today is when doing the Baphomet sign. This lady on today, 7/2, National UFO Day, saw some sort of alien interdimensional being on an AA flight, on an American airline flight. So it's connected to the dates. Not a lot of people know that happened on 7/2. And even the Haktua girl, I look so deep into stuff, and the picture of the Haktua girl and them on this camera angle went viral. So if you want to go viral and you're a girl, make sure you're filming yourself from this angle, because that seems to work. And you see how her body is pointing to the camera. That's just coincidentally the only camera on the flight in the front row, and her body's. I'm a videographer. I would tell you that's what you're supposed to do. Your body is supposed to point at the camera, which she's doing. She never acknowledges the camera, which makes you comfortable looking at her. This is all movie magic happening on the world stage.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. The hot tour girl, her real name, Haley, I can't remember her last name, but her name equals 666 in Sumerian gematria. Her name equals 666. Can you hear me?
Crazy. Yes.
Oh, okay. And she was just with Shaq. She just got up with Shaq. Shaq put her up on his Instagram or something. And you know, Shaq is a 33rd degree Mason as well. He even flashed his Masonic ring on television during the NBA TNT show. So these things, so people think that this was like a random go viral moment. No, her name equals 666. Sumerian gematria. So this is a selected person. This isn't somebody that just randomly came out and started talking about whatever she's speaking about fellatio. So there is some type of phallic worship that she's speaking of in fellatio in reference to what she's saying with Haktwa. And I looked up the etymology of Haktwa, and it's relative to black magic. The word tua goes into black magic. On my Patreon, I did a full breakdown on it. All of the etymological roots of tua in different cults of the tua, even in Native American and in other cultures. So there's some stuff going on people don't understand.
Jacob Israel was like Tua is an anagram for Utah. And right after this, on the summer solstice, which is the 69 position for Crowley going into fellatio, the monolith appeared in Utah too. And you taught me about the color frequencies and the importance of that. Now, is it a coincidence that they're rocking the Knights Templar color code, the red, white, and black that we see on all the and speaking of Shaq and Masonry, the highest order of the Masons is the Knights Templar order. So it is very important. A lot of people don't like it when I talk about the Templars. They want me to talk about the Masons, and that's what goes more viral. But the Templars, the Masons are nothing but an arm of the Templars. And look at his watch. I'm just looking at it now. Look at the time. It looks like it's at 12:11. So or 12:10. So there's the 2:01 sort of in there with the time. I'm sure there's something up with that as well.
Yeah, but Templarism is connected to Masonry. What are they talking about?
I know.
The troubadours, the French troubadours, they were affiliated with Catharism and Templarism. So Templarism is still connected with that if they don't understand that. And we spoke about the origin of the Templars. They were wiped out in the Crusades. They were taught by the Moors at the University of Salamanca, the 7 liberal arts. And that's why they commemorated the Moors. That's why the Baphomet is intertwined with the symbol of Pan from Greece, which is the symbol of all. Pan represents all. And that's why you know today Pan is, you have pan sexual and all that type stuff. But the Templars were commemorating their Moorish teachers. The original pictures of the Sabbatic goat was literally the Moors. And the Moors basically brought this science up there. The Templars started to teach different Gnostic type science and give information about the occult, astrology, astronomy, different things about the stars. So that the church wiped them out in the Crusades. And guess what? Some of the families from the church just adopted the name the Knights of Templar. So the new Knights of Templars is a sect after the original, and then they became all evil and inverted and started doing other stuff. Whereas the other Knights of Templars, they were trying to give light to Europe. They were trying to give them information. Hey, this is what's really going on. This is why they're doing this on certain dates. It's all astrological and pertains to the luminary bodies.
Yes, like even the French Revolution started off like a noble cause where they wanted it to be sort of like an American revolution, but these things get hijacked and then it turns into the reign of terror. So like things where they originate from, have good causes and good symbols. Like even the pyramid of the chief cornerstone, or the pyramidion that Jordan Maxwell spoke about, is the symbol for Jesus or the Mashiach as well. And then people like use it and then cross it out. And they don't even, I don't know if they know, like it symbolizes something bad, New World Order now, but like things get hijacked. And it goes into the last video I did is connecting a lot of the Malta connections and the Knights Hospitallers, who are probably the ones, I don't know my history too well, but maybe they're the ones who took over the original ones. And I just remember Kim Kardashian walking on the Iron Cross, like, and the National Socialists are the New Templars. Marilyn Manson, hey, look, this is his gear. It's the double cross, just like, I mean, and they're in Italy, in Venice connection as well. Here's Kanye in Venice with the mask, the Doge of Venice, and the Dogecoin meme has the double cross right there. I thought that was a great video, but people don't want to hear that.
They should. This is very critical.
What's going on with homeboy Jamie Foxx?
Man, Jamie Foxx just came out, I believe yesterday. There was a video that went viral of him, and he said that his friend gave him an Advil. Now, he says it's a friend, but he never clarifies. It's very vague, but somebody gave him a Advil, a pill, and it probably wasn't even a pill, but he said that when he took it, he lost his memory from everything that happened 20 hours prior to him taking it. So remember the whole they cloned Tyrone whole thing that was happening around that time. It's interesting that he's saying that he lost his memory, and then everyone came out with the clone allegations. That's what prototypically happens in the butterfly net when we speak about a moonchild. It's the erasing of memory, and it's an uploading of a separate person into that person. That's what the whole mind control experiments has been about originally. And it just is extremely weird. I have to look at the date of why he said it on that particular date connected with his birthday. But I think they're trying to tell us something, secret about what happened with him.
Wow. Jamie Foxx reveals what led to his mysterious hospitalization. I was gone for 20 days. Dang. Yeah. And I wonder where he went, because Kanye is now in Russia, just like Jordan Peterson did a mysterious hospitalization in Russia. Then he came back Russian Orthodox, and he always crying after it. Like, there's absolutely a lot going on.
What's that QR code? I wonder what's on that QR, because I think he's promoting something while he's saying it. So I think that's what it is. If you scan the QR code, I don't know if we can, but maybe if somebody scan it, we might figure out something else. It may lead to some type of merchandise. I don't know, but that QR code means something to the reason why he's wearing it when he said that.
I'm scanning it right now with my phone, I think.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. But yeah, maybe if someone in the comment section can.
Oh, he was in Phoenix. Look, he was in Phoenix when he said it.
Oh, and you know what? Blink 182's in Phoenix right now for the 182 day. Maybe Phoenix can go through some ritual. I'm in Phoenix, and I mean, even the submersible sunk during the summer solstice for 96 hours, which is the 69 for the summer solstice, or the 96. And they were listening to Blink 182. We're like,
wow.
Yeah, today's the leave of 182 days left until the end of the year. There's a lot of stuff, and I got all your links down below. Ani, go subscribe to his Patreon. Look, you're not going to be, you're going to be very glad you did. Also, go subscribe to my Patreon too. I got those links down below. Go follow us over on the Twitter as well. Me and Ani are very active on Twitter, yes, which is an algorithm of hate. That's what I call it, the Twitter Spaces.
It is, Lord.
it's an amygdala hijack. It's an intentional amygdala hijack to get us out of logic and reason of the prefrontal cortex while everybody's tripping on hallucinogens. And I'm not saying that, you know, spiritual, like that, a lot of religions, that's where it's stemming from these magical trips. And I'm not like dissing that. What I'm saying is there's a reason why the Gordon Wasson, vice president of propaganda for JP Morgan, brought that out during the hippie movement. And I think it's going on now with the AI, but that's like a whole nother topic. But go subscribe to Ani's Patreon, his Twitter, and most especially his YouTube. I got his YouTube link. It's probably the most easiest to access if you're on YouTube right now. Or where would you like people to go?
He said, "Oh, it's good. Yeah, they do the Patreon. I'm gonna be more frequent on Patreon than anything, and it's only $5, guys. Like the upper tiers, I upload my live lectures to the upper tiers, but mainly the $5 a month, you're gonna get at least 2 3-hour videos a week. At least we might do 3 if we do an interview. But
yeah, and I'd be up in there, bro. I'd be up in the Zoom calls too.
Yeah, Donut is active. He'll pop in. And it's always something going on. Like today we were covering, well, I was going to cover the Rick Ross whole thing that went on in Canada. You know, it's weird because yesterday, it was Canada Day. It was Canada Day, and Drake was wearing his Toronto Raptors. He had his fingernails painted with the Hello Kitty. He had Hello Kitty on his fingernails. And Rick Ross was jumped outside at a Vancouver concert that he was doing. And he was jumped for playing the Kendrick Lamar diss, the Not Like Us diss. And come to figure out, the person who was jumping him or confronting him was a Hell's Angel. And in Drake's last music video, you know, me and Juan did the Lamar Drake workings video. We broke down the whole entire beef, but we were talking about Family Matters, Drake's diss song or video. He had a Hell's Angel, one of the head people of the Hell's Angels in that music video. And it's a coincidence that Rick Ross gets jumped by a Hell's Angel. And I think it's a humiliation ritual.
Absolutely it is, because Rick Ross, he's got the song Freemason with Jay-Z. Rick Ross works with Drake. They're friends. Like right. Rick Ross hasn't dropped many albums. In all the albums, Drake's on it. And Drake and either 50 Cent or Kanye did a fake beef, just like Taylor Swift's doing a fake beef, or even Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Kendrick Lamar got famous because of one of the songs was the Drake song, Poetic Justice. Like they work together, and their album sales skyrocket to the point where Donald Trump even talks about it. Donald Trump talks about the Kendrick Lamar. And so this is that simulacra Moonchild. And the Moonchild connected to Trump is crazy as well.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's producer actually produced one of Drake's disses to, one of Kendrick's disses to Drake.
Oh, there you go.
Taylor Swift is connected because Drake made a reference saying that, oh, your label makes you do music with Taylor Swift. So he went and did another song with Taylor Swift's producer, which tells you what Taylor Swift feels about Drake, you know, because they're both connected. So, and also they just said at Taylor Swift's at her Eras tour, is that the name? Her Eras tour,
Erase tour.
Yeah, Erase tour, because her fans are saying that they don't remember anything from the tour afterwards. That article just came out like 2 days ago that their fans' memories are being erased or something like that.
Yes, it goes into Project Artichoke. So all the I think it is the flashing while she's performing. They have the strobe light effect that we see in the MK Ultra studies. They go and they're getting reset. And every like girl that I talked to that went to the tour, they all came out a little different after the tour. Like they changed a little bit, I've noticed. But we're all changing. But who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I think it's frequency weapons. I think it goes even into the Havana syndrome, but it's another a frequency weapon. It's another energy weapon that they probably are rolling out or getting some pre-trial runs of seeing how the weapon works. And it's weird. How can you lose memory from being at a concert? I mean, that's weird. If people don't think, that should be a big story. That should be one of the biggest stories, that people can't remember things after being on tour.
Yeah.
Tours. Right.
Yes.
So she is definitely an Illuminati weapon that they're using. They roll her out. They know a lot of people are going to be there. Look, she has a snake on her outfit right there. So they use these people. These people are moon children, and we are being initiated in a 33rd Reich ritual. We're being initiated every day into Freemasonry, and even deeper into other secret cults and other things. All of this is cult references from the past. These people used to be in cults in ancient different civilizations. There were different cults, different people worship certain deities around these cults, and they're initiating us and making the celebrities the cult. So when they say Swiftie, that is a cult of Taylor Swift. She is the idol. She is the god. She is being worshipped. And the same thing with Drake fans. You know, Drake fans, Drake has a big cult as well. Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, all of these people. All of it is symbolism. Did you notice at the BET Awards when Will Smith performed, they had the black sun, they had a black and red sun, and the ground of his performance, it was like an ash ground, and the outfit he was wearing had like a gray type of color, representing the ash of the Phoenix Rising, because he was buried from what happened when he slapped Chris Rock. And in Freemasonry, the rock is very central. And if you look up Freemasonry, they always speak about the rock. Everything's connected to the rock. How many rituals we had with the celebrity, the rock, over the past few years, even going back to the Hawaiian fires, the Lahaina fires.
I think they're going to bring out the Rock to go against Trump. I think the Rock is the only person, and it was predicted in both of Donnie Darko, the movie where Donnie Darko is Donald Darko, like Trump, and his other movie, Southland Tales, the Rock becomes the president. So it's the same guy. So I bet you the Rock is going to run against Trump, maybe. Like, I know, and I get laughed at when I share that as well, because it's so idiocracy, but you got to bet on the idiocracy.
Yeah. And the symbolism here, he's in a ritual circle, the fire, the ring of fire. He's in the middle of a ritual circle. And the council above represents something like the fallen angels. It is Nephilim programming, like that. That's what they're higher than him. They're like a galactic council, and behind them they have the luminary body of the moon, which is also symbolizing the moon child. If you look at the symbolism, and even that graphic right below Viacom, if you type in the headdress of the Egyptian gods, that thing at the bottom looks just like the headdress, like of what the Egyptian goddesses would wear. The moon goddesses would wear that exact symbol. So it's just like crazy how much symbolism you can see if you study this esoteric information.
Wow, that is wild. Yeah, and also the Altamont was a concert, and I'll go to that real quick because we're talking about concerts and Hell's Angels. And this is nothing new under the sun. Even Kanye had the eclipse at his Donda performance with Marilyn Manson and Elon Musk. The symbolism of these concerts are super important. And if we go back to the Altamont, which ended the hippie movement, filmed by George Lucas, they had the Hells Angels as the bodyguard, as Mick Jagger was Satan. So Mick Jagger was dressed up as Satan, and there's that whole Kenneth Anger connection there with Lucifer Rising. And this concert, the Hells Angels were the security guard of Lucifer, which was Mick Jagger, and here's some more pictures of it, filmed by George Lucas, and this ended the hippie movement. This was the final nail in the coffin of the hippie movement because somebody was attacked. And it's crazy.
Yeah, they had to end the hippie movement because people were tapping into some type of hormone within them. If you really study the hippie movement, yeah, there were some bad things with it, but the positive things that the CIA and the FBI was studying is that people were becoming more loving.
Yes.
They were becoming less racist as well. They were studying on different the different psychedelic type of things that they were taking. They were like, man, bump that, man. It's all about love. Everything is about love and harmony. So there were some bad downsides. You know, you could look up the downsides, but there were more positive things coming out of the hippie movement than it was negative. So they had to stop that because they had to divide and conquer.
It's absolutely true. It goes back to the whole like movements that are good, then get co-opted and taken over and turned into bad because of the influence. And people like Noam Chomsky, look, I know his connections are sus too, but Noam Chomsky, he was a real threat because he wanted peace. He didn't want the Vietnam War, and he was looked at as a threat. So that's why they pushed the Timothy Leary agenda, going back to the Illuminati Dolphins and the meta programming of John C. Lilly, who seems to have I don't know these people personally, just from my research. Yeah. They utilize that to move an entire populace of loving hippies into more of someone you can't, like Noam Chomsky. He can speak like where people will listen to him in high positions of power, but a lot of people that like here, nobody's going to listen to because they're just like rolling around on the ground, you know. But the same thing's happening now with the alt-right movement as well. So Harvard, where Timothy Leary was the top head who was doing these Concord prison experiments and different experiments on the mind control, that the other guy was Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, he was head department of psychology and the psychiatry in Harvard, and Harvard's connected to the Knights of Malta as well. And the instead of pushing people into a hippie movement, they're pushing people now into a like an alt-right movement. So we're like, so it's like we're saying it's not a bad thing to have peace and love, or it's not a bad thing to make your bed and have rules and integrity in life. That's not a bad thing. There's a reason why movements get co-opted and pushed into the direction. And
it is
crazy.
And that nudge theory that you keep speaking about, I think that is what's happening. They're nudging them towards something of an agenda that they don't even understand, that's bigger down the line. Yeah. Especially with what's going on with the alt-right. The left too. The left got some funny stuff going on too. They got a lot of funny stuff, but the right, I believe, has a little bit more power. I think they have a little bit more influence over the generations, because you can look at the stuff at the left. The things that the left does is things that, as a conservative from our generation, a conservative mindset, not being a direct conservative, you can look at it and be like, I don't want my kids doing no stuff like that. So that's what they give you the right for. But the ultimate agenda of the right, I believe, is to change them into a new Nazi. We're using that word, cult. And that's some things that I'm gonna be studying. I'm gonna look real deep into that information to give a presentation of how that is happening right now.
Tell us a little bit about the Nazi, which is different, and I'll show a couple symbolism real quick. I just gotta pull it up, but all the head top National Socialists moved over to NATO. Not a lot of people know this, but the top National Socialists, which is this symbol, that you see at the Vatican, you see that symbol right there. That's also the National Socialist symbol, which is also the symbol for NATO. And that's who's in control. I mean, you got the symbols of USA Today. It goes deep. But what is this Naches?
The Nachi or Nache was a indigenous American Indian society, a collective group of people from back then. Today is a city now in Mississippi, but prior it was a literal group of people that knew the science of the Naga. Yeah, that's a picture of them, or a recent picture. That's probably a civilized picture of them. So I believe that they adapted because they were studying, you know, Quetzalcoatl and different American deities. One thing that's very prevalent when you're studying esotericism, they do not give you American mythology like that. We know more about Egypt than we know about the American deities, Ometeotl, you know, Ishel, Mictlantecutli. All of these different deities that influenced the later Aztec, Toltec societies that went down into the Iroquois Confederation and the American indigenous Moors, all of these other things that became sects of what these different civilizations here in America prior to, you know, the United States. They really cover that history up. They don't want us to know any esoteric science. So I believe that they were studying Naga science of the luminaries, because the Naga represents the path of the sun. That's what it represents. And they covered that information up, and they keep it for themselves in different organizations like you get out of Germany, you know, the red, black, you know what I'm saying? They take these ancient names and they incorporate them and use them in their names. And we have no idea that the whole name came from somewhere around here.
Yeah, that's wild. And like, we were going into some statistics. You were going into some statistics on your Patreon. Now, me being Jewish, I know the statistics of how many Jews there are. There's more Native Americans than there are Jews, which I think is wild statistic. No one knows.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why. But go ahead.
Well, you were going into some statistics as well with prison population as well. I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you why there's more Native Americans first. There's more Native Americans because in the 1920s, or even before the 1920s, they had something called the Dow's Rolls. And the Dow's Rolls is where the $5 Indian comes from. I don't know if you ever heard of $5 Indian, but basically all you had to do is pay $5 and you can get on the Dow's Rolls and you can become a part of an Indian tribe. So different Europeans were paying money because they knew that America was going to allocate certain things to the Native Americans. It's even in the new movie. You can type this in, Flowers of the Blood Moon.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, great movie. Tons of Masonic symbolism in it as well. Martin Scorsese does his research too, and I know this because I grew up in Vegas, where in the nice neighborhood where the mafia would have lived. So all of my neighbors, they all had mafia stories, and Martin Scorsese did his research, and he went to these mafia houses. But yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon. That's what it was. Killers of the Flower Blood Moon, something like that. But there's a book that you can read, and they're talking about how these Native Americans, these Europeans, were marrying into those families, to the Native American families, and they were killing off the wives so they can get all of the benefits that America was giving to those Native American tribes. And it's also connected to the Dow's Rolls as well. So a lot of things that they cover up, going back to the statistics. So one thing that people don't understand with primarily Black Americans, we went through an ethnogenesis. We were a mixture of a lot of different Africans that were brought over here, but we had indigenous bloodlines here in America that they try to cover up. They don't want people to know that there were actual Black Native American tribes. The Shinnecock, the Washita. There's a lot of different tribes. Even the Seminoles. The word Seminole means Cimarron. Cimarron means a runaway slave. So they tried to bury that there were other cultures that were mixed in during slavery, and it birthed the ethnogenesis because some of those Black Americans will also mix in with European lineage as well. So now there is a certain outlook towards, you know, the Black Americans. They try to make it seem like this CIA version of hip hop is our culture. So when you look at Black American culture, you automatically associate it with crime or prison. And I was looking up statistically, how true is this? Because in the alt-right rooms, all they talk about is crime and prison. And they have these characters like this, Sexy Red. This is our culture. Well, really, our culture is fighting oppression. If you look into the civil rights movement, we were people that said, hey, this is wrong. People should be treated fairly. We want to fight against that. Today, in all of society and probably world eyes, our culture is looked upon as whatever the most degenerate rapper is rapping about. So that's stupid, because every culture has a underbelly. You can point at every culture and find something messed up with it. So absolutely. So the thing about it, when it comes to crime, I looked up the statistics. How many Black people, let's say Black Americans, are locked up in prison? I just looked it up. I went to the FBI statistics. Y'all can look it up too. It's about 400,000 Black Americans in prison. The last statistics of us in this country that they counted from, what is the thing they do when they count everybody? Whatever they do, they did in 2020. We're about a 45 million. So 45 million to 400,000 people is about 0.9%, bro. So you're telling me 0.9% of a people are literally in prison, but we became the face of who's in prison and committing crime. We don't even have 1% of Black Americans in prison. And people can back this up and look it up and tell me if I'm wrong or not. And this is the thing. It's all about mind control. It's all about them, just like that whole thing Trump was talking about with black jobs. What is a black job? I still was trying to figure out what is black jobs. And I know there's some gematria connected with that. I'm going to reveal the gematria. But all of this stuff is mind control and how to program and make people think a certain way about certain groups, so certain groups can stay in power.
Yes, this is all strategic. This is a long-term goal, like you said, that these goals are planned out via generations and centuries. They are century-long goals. And division, I mean, it works. It absolutely works. The division, yes. It divide and conquer, order out of chaos. I mean, and it's worked all throughout history. And it's just the same thing happening now. And Reza Georgiani did a great breakdown video of it with New Hypothesis, which has just totally blown my mind and got me thinking much differently. And here's Sexy Red, and she's got it looks like the devil horns, but you're absolutely right. They're trying to piss off they're trying to piss off everybody. Even this could be considered maybe an eyeball as well, but they're trying to piss off everybody to be divisive against every culture for a reason. There's a reason going on for it, for sure. And her name with the two Y's, what is that all about?
Yeah, well, we noticed that the double Y means it could be a male. Now, the thing about it, the one thing I make people be careful about, because when they talk about Michelle Obama, they speak about Black women in different prominent roles, we automatically jump to the conclusion that they're males, like every celebrity are inverted. I'm not saying that's wrong or right, but the correct term is a free martin, which I did the research on chimerism or chimerism. It does exist. I do have the photos and the research from ResearchGate from Oxford University that I showed to somebody that was trying to debate me on it or whatnot. And I had like 178 articles and different research papers on what the free martin is, because they didn't believe that they could create human free martins. They've been doing human free martins. And basically it's a person who's born with the gender, so they are female. I'm not trying to say that they aren't inverted, because they have the opposite skeleton of the gender. So a female will be born with a male skeleton, and more than likely they aren't able to have kids a certain way, that, you know, they have to get a surrogate or something to have kids. So a lot of celebrities, especially in Hollywood, I mean, not Hollywood, especially in different Black Hollywood, they primarily use them because some Black female.
Is this the right slide I'm showing while you're talking?
No, this ain't it.
Okay.
You got to look. You got to go in the research papers, brother. I got the
Okay.
pictures. I have the pictures, and they have more masculine looks. So just because there's a more masculine look, people jump to the extreme. They're males. Well, really, the bone structure, and I believe even going into the research from what we spoke about earlier, that other, the people with the red and black, they were studying how to have these certain born free Martins in hospitals, especially after Operation Paperclip, with people without knowing they are free Martins and they are moon children born from these certain programs set up in the hospital to make them inverted. And then they grow up to be celebrities. So I know that sounds confusing, but when I back it up with the research, it's going to make more sense. I might do a documentary out of it, so people can
understand. Any support, I would love to edit.
I would love to collaborate and did it. We can collaborate and do it, but people need to know it's not always that they're the opposite sex. Is that they're the gender born with the opposite skeleton, and we need to start to push that and understand that there is a Kabbalistic science and how that can be done. And they started doing it on cows first, and then they moved that program or project into humans.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen your videos on it as well, and they really buried the information. Like you look up free Martinism and free Martin, the cow stuff pops up, and that's intentional.
Oh, somebody brought up a good point. I got a graphic that I can show you.
Please.
Where the skull and bones. You want me to show it?
Yes.
Hold on, guys. Let me pull it up. Do you pull it up for me, or do I click it?
You can pull it up on your site, and I'll share your screen.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Would you like me to share it now?
Yes, because I have it right up here. And it's just a quick share so guys can see what is the skull and bones. Somebody in my chat brought that up, that when they say skull and bones, they're still talking about free Martinism.
Yeah, and that's what I love about your research and your slides. Your slides are incredible. So much work goes into them.
It does. I do put some work in it, but
and it activates creativity as well. When that's something I noticed with myself when I get inspired by a lot. All your presentations, I get inspired to create creatively.
Oh, me too. That's the Mercurian energy. The Mercurian energy is creativity. So we all have a little bit of Mercurian, some more than others. But right here, you see how half of the skull and bone. Let me zoom in a little bit. You see how
I got to shout out to Willie Norpole, friend of mine, Willie Norpole. He goes up on the Bro Sanchez as well.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, right here, it shows that half is this. This is not the same skull. This is a male skull and a female skull.
Oh, damn.
And there's different femur bones. So they're showing you right here that this is free Martinism. This is free Martinism. They're showing you, they're giving you a secret that the skulls of some of these people are the opposite genders.
That's crazy.
And
whoa.
Look, you can determine the sex of a person from their femur bone. The femur bones right here are different.
Dang, look at that.
Yeah, so that's a big revelation that I think whatever we can call our community conscious, whatever community we're a part of, we need to understand that that's what you don't have to share anymore. But
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's something that we need to look into and start to reciprocate as knowledge.
That's amazing. That skull and bones connection is amazing. And we were talking about Sexy Red and Amber Rose as well has been in the news lately. And where is the article of Amber Rose? Because the rose symbolism is very important. There's a reason why 21 Savage dated Amber Rose, and 21 Savage's logo is the Priory of Sion. If you look right here, it's just It's a sexual symbol, but it's the symbol of the Priory of Sion. And during Drink Champs, for example, it's Amber Rose reaffirms MAGA support. But before she did not, she was part of the slut walk. That was
Yeah, I
her thing.
remember that. Yeah, we broke that down. I remember that.
The slut walk. I don't know if you ever saw Jesse Lee Peterson interviewing people at the slut walk.
Oh my God, that's one of the biggest coons we have. Jesse
It was
Lee.
hilarious though. He's a funny comedian.
Yeah, he is funny. He's funny.
Like,
he's grifting. He knows what he's doing.
He's very intelligent. And he was like, what is it like to be a slut?
I remember. He was interviewing all those people. That was so funny.
And that was at the Amber Rose thing. But the rose symbolism is what Drink Champs they award people. They just awarded Insane Clown Posse, which I got this whole I got so much breakdown of ICP.
I saw that interview. I watched the Drink Champs Insane Clown Posse interview. I did watch the whole thing.
Woo woo. Yeah. Like I'm straight juggalo at heart. I grew up on with the Violent J and Shaggy. Like they were played at my bar mitzvah. You know, like I had to force the DJ to be like, yo, you playing this. Like I was just a huge fan. But there's so much symbolism in them as well. What did you get from that interview? I'd like to know someone who I don't think you were never into them, were you?
Not really. I mean, when we played, I was in B squad football before I got in varsity. I was a very good varsity football player, recruited by a lot of schools. But when we were in B squad, I used to play Insane Clown Posse all the time. And we had like the crazy white boys. They used to get real crazy, paint their face. When we used to play games, they used to paint their face like the Insane Clown Posse. So when we played different teams, they were scared of our players.
Oh yeah, it's warrior music. It's like warrior stuff, you know.
Yeah, but I do have something on the roles. If you were done, I was gonna
please
share some information. This goes into the Cocteau Twins. There's a group of people studying Elizabeth Fraser at the Cocteau Twins and the glossolalia that's connected with it. But when you were talking about Amber Rose, you know, you speak about the Priory of the Rose, the Priory of Zion, which is connected to the symbol of the rose. There is a guy that the Cocteau Twins were named by, named John Cocteau. John is spelled Jean, Cocteau. And he was a French poet and a film director that was he actually was a grand master of the Priory of Zion, Sion. And there's a famous painting that he made in 1997 in the London Notre Dame French church called the Templar Revelation. In this work, you look up this picture real quick, the Templar Revelation would go on to inspire the Da Vinci Code. By John.
And that was all about the Priory of Sion.
Yeah, and it has the black sun in it. That's the reason why I want you to look it up. Look up the painting. Let me see. This is it. Did you type in Notre Dame? Try Notre Dame. It's the Templar Revelation Notre Dame painting. It's not popping up for you.
I'm not seeing it, but I'll keep looking.
Yeah, it's promotional items. Clive. Okay, it's Clive Prince. Put it up. Clive Prince. Try Clive Prince Templar, the Templar Revelation. Clive, like Clive. Yeah. Looks like they're hiding.
I'll find it.
It looks like they're hiding it, guys. You guys look it up and find it, but it literally has a black sun. It has a black sun in the middle of the picture, and they say this goes on, and this is the reason why that is connected. So the Cocteau Twins, John Cocteau is connected to the Priory of Sion, and it's connected to the movie Demolition Man. In Demolition Man, the guy who rules over the political governance, name is Raymond Cocteau. And then you have the European society called the Cocteau Plan. The Cocteau Plan is Agenda 2030 is associated with the Cocteau Plan. Now, the Cocteau Twins, you're not really going to understand their music because Elizabeth Fraser, she sings in something called glossolalia. It's called the language of the angels. And if you were in a Christian church, Baptist or whatever, you would hear people speak in tongues. Speaking in tongues is a language called glossolalia. And it's literally how to contact interdimensional beings by saying barbarous words. It goes way back into Greece and in Egypt of how these people can tap into this conscious current. So you don't really understand what Elizabeth Fraser is saying, but there's a cult of Elizabeth Fraser called the Fraserologists. And they're saying that everything that's happening today, bro, is connected to Elizabeth Fraser. And they have a lot of proof to back it up, even with what happened with this year's Super Bowl. Her main album was called Heaven in Las Vegas. And there's some lyrics in that song that connects to what happened in the Super Bowl that I decoded on my Patreon.
Yeah, okay. Always showing that Black Sun symbolism. And I did do a podcast with Christopher Knowles that I'll be editing and
he talks about the Fraserologists too. Matter of fact, the first time I heard about them was from Christopher Knowles. I meant to mention him. He's if you get him on, please get me on, because I would like to speak with him.
What I'll do is I'll release the video because we recorded it last year. It's up on my Patreon now. Get early access to it. But I'll edit that video. I'll put it out. I'll reach back out to him and get me and him up on there for sure. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Christopher. He's a great teacher.
Yes. Yeah. And so Ani, this has been so much fun. I'm so grateful to have you here. We are covering something strange is happening. Something strange is happening. Make sure everybody to smash that like button. I got a podcast I'll be releasing on Friday. I'm editing right now, but get early access to Cynthia Chung's information. We go over the Knights of Malta, fascism, all the stuff that's happening today. And a lot of these movies being released that seem independent are absolutely connected to higher orders. It's going to be an incredible video. It was rated one of the best videos over on the Patreon. So go support this work. I got my links down below. Ani, where would you like people to go? Go subscribe to Ani as well.
Yeah, please subscribe. Come to patreon.com/THE_spiritual shade room. You can also follow me on Instagram at the spiritual shade room and put the number 1 and just type in Ani Osaru for Twitter or Facebook, and come on over to YouTube, Ani Osaru. And yeah, we're supposed to be going live this week, so we have a lot of information to share with you guys going forward.
Yeah, I got all those links down below. Everybody go subscribe. So grateful to have you here, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, gonna sign out. Much love, everybody. It's
yes, sir.
Nut and Ani Osaru at the Spiritual Shade Room. Much love and God bless you.
Peace.
Peace.